Hi, today we're going to do the matching octaves game. It's actually a good way for you to be sure you're playing in tune. And now that you know how to place your fingers on the A string, we're going to start by matching whether our fingers match up with some of the open strings. When I say open strings, I mean any string that doesn't have a finger down on it. So the first thing we'll do now is do the Statue of Liberty, get in playing position. And now we're going to slide our hand up and down, go back to the end of the fingerboard, make sure that the base joint of the first finger is in line with the A string, curve my first finger so that I have my fingernail friend down, and I'm going to check and make sure that B sounds right. Sounds good to me. I might also play A, open A, and then B, and then C sharp, and then D. So I'm checking my fingers to see if they're in what I think is the right place because they sound right and they sound like they're in tune. But the octave game is going to tell me for sure. What I'm going to be doing is matching the next string over, which is the D string, this one, with my third finger D. Remember we have the same name of the open D string and the third finger on the A string, which is also called D. And those two notes, this D and this D, should match. They don't match exactly because they're an octave apart, and what that means is there are 8 notes difference from one D to the next D. And if you look on a piano and can find the D, you'll find another D and another D because the piano keyboard is so long. There are many different Ds that are all 8 notes apart. So what I'm going to do is try to make sure that my fingers are in tune and matching with the open D string. So here's my open D, and here's my 3 fingers on the A string D. Sometimes I call it the low D and the high D, and they match. Now, I think if your fingers sound like mine, you're in tune. If, however, my fingers are slipped a little bit out of tune, it might sound like this if I play 4 Ds on my open, and then I'm out of tune. That might make you have to curl up your face. That just doesn't sound right. So I'm going to slide back a little bit. Maybe I slide too far. Wonder how this will sound. Here's my open D. Ooh, that sounds sour to me. So I'm going to slide sort of in between those two, and let's see if this one works now. That one makes me smile because it sounds right to me. So that's how we match the octaves, and that's called the octave game. Let's do the octave game over one string. So now I'm going to go over to the third string for G, play 4 of those, and now I'm going to have all 3 of my fingers down on the D string. So all I have to do is just scoot my fingers over. You might help with a little bit of movement from your elbow to do that. Tap your thumb in case you're getting tense or feel like you need just a little relaxation. Tapping helps a lot. So let's do 4 G's of the open G string, and then 4 of having 3 fingers down on the D string, which is also called G. A low G for my open and the high G with my fingers. Here we go. How does that sound to you? Do they match? That's always the question that you want to ask. Let's go back into rest position and shake out any tension that's going on in our arms, in our shoulders, anywhere else in our body. Now, we matched up the D string, I'll show it to you this way, right here, with our high D, here. Then we matched up our G string with our high G, here. What do you think will come next? If you're thinking the C string, you're right. We'll match up C with our 3 fingers over here on the G string, which makes the high C, to see if we can make those sound like they match. So let's do that in playing position. Here we go, up to statue, into playing position, slide back to the end. Now we want to put our 3 fingers, let's just place one at a time, fingernail friend, second finger, third finger. Now tap your thumb a couple times, swing your elbow, thumb in the corner of the fingerboard, reach over to the C string now. So this feels like I'm reaching a little farther. Let's play 4 C strings, the open Cs, and then let's play 4 with our fingers on the G string. Here we go. Yikes, that didn't sound good to me. I'm going to slide my fingers and see if I can get it to match. And while I'm checking, I'm just going to do one of each. Oops, I think I went too far. I'm going to go back. There, that makes me smile. Okay, I'm ready now. Let's do 4 open Cs and 4 with our high Cs. Ready? Go. There we go. So now I think we should play a little song using some of the octaves, and maybe it'll even be a duet. So the duet is called Persian Song, and I'm going to play the octave Ds. So I have to get my fingers ready on the A string. I'll slide a little, go to the end, put my fingernail friend down. Let's check each note. Check it. Yes, okay. So I will start, and then you'll hear our duet. Isn't that nice? So we can do lots of other songs too using the Matching the Octave game, and in our next video we'll be adding even more songs for you to play.